Welcome to today's speed build. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today I am super excited because, as you can probably tell, I am building in the new world of Ravenwood. Now, this is the gorgeous new world that we got with the new expansion pack, the Life or Death expansion pack. And I am so excited about this build, about this world, to talk to you about everything. I'm just so excited, and I really hope you enjoyed this one. I hope that you like this build and this video. But we are building here on this lot called Mystic Crossroads, I believe the name is. It's very small on my monitor, so it's hard to see, but I think that is what it says. Now, this is a beautiful lot with beautiful lighting. As you can probably tell, it's kind of, I don't know the word, it's very misty, mystical looking, very, dead trees and stuff like that. And the reason for this is because I am building in the neighborhood where the veil is the thinnest, essentially. So this is where the veil between life and death is very thin, and this is where you see a lot of ghosts. And by that I mean I did gameplay with this, and there is a lot of ghosts just everywhere. It's actually really cool. I love the gameplay aspect, which I am going to talk about in a little bit because I had so much fun playing around with this. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I am building in Morningville, and Morningville is one of the 3 neighborhoods that we got. So we got 3 neighborhoods. One of them is, of course, Morningville. One of them goes by the name of Crow's Crossing, and it's a lot more happier looking, shall we say. It definitely doesn't have as many ghosts hanging around. It looks a lot more normal, a lot more suburban. And then we also have a Whispering Glen, which is another neighborhood, and I'd say that one looks the least death surrounded. Yeah, it just seems to be very happy and very lively. No pun intended. But yeah, so I am building in Morningville, which I think is my favorite neighborhood, I'm going to be honest. I am yet to build in the other neighborhoods, so that opinion might shift a little bit the more I build. I'm definitely going to be building a lot more than just this one build. I just really wanted to get this video out for you guys so that, I could talk about something and so I could at least, put my own spin on things. But yeah, I so far like this neighborhood the most out of the 3. Now, there is a extra little thing that I have not mentioned, and that is a secret lot. Now, if you did not know, one of the things that we got with this pack, and this is gameplay orientated, but also I guess if you're a builder, this would be helpful as well. There's a secret lot in the game, and that is called the Neverworld Department. So this is where you go if you want to do the Reaper career, which is something that I decided to give a shot because I just thought it was so fun. If you do not look at the community tab, I recommend you do because it's fun. I just post like little snippets from whatever I'm doing, or like little sneak peeks from videos that I'm working on, and I posted a little photo of my sim with the Grim Reaper himself, and I loved it so much. Like, I was having so much fun playing around, and yeah, I decided to become a Grim Turn, which I just love. I love that name. And yeah, with that career, you can visit the Neverworld Department, and that's kind of where you work and you do a bunch of tasks. So it kind of works the way Get to Work does. You can go to work with your sim and you can just do a bunch of tasks, and this includes, like, it's pretty standard things. It's kind of like practicing to reap souls and fixing tablets and just random little things, just a bunch of different things. It's really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna be honest, I did develop quite the relationship with Grim himself. Now, I I just wanted to see what it would be like. I also gave myself a trait. Now, I don't remember the exact name of the trait, but essentially what it is that death chases you wherever you go. So like, you know, you're more susceptible to death, I suppose, because you can die a lot faster because Jess? Who's Jess? Because death is essentially chasing you. And I thought maybe because I'm dating the Grim himself, I wouldn't experience that, but it doesn't make a difference. You will experience it. Don't worry, there's no concern about that. You absolutely will experience it. But you know, it is probably only fair because, you know, that would be a really easy way to get out of it. So yeah, I understand, but I thought I would chance my luck. But yeah, anyway, I played around and yeah, it's really fun gameplay, like going to the work. I would say it's probably repetitive if you were to do it every single time, but you could say the same about get to work. So honestly, I really enjoyed the gameplay. I thought it was really fun. I love being able to go to work with my Sims, and yeah, because I was getting with Grim, it was good because, like, you know, there was some stuff going on there. And Grim is, of course, the boss, so that was kind of fun. You know, I felt a little bit scandalous with that, and yeah, it was just super fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that, like, separate lot just in case you hadn't heard of it. And now, I will say, as you can see, I am building. I haven't spoken much about the build, but I went for, of course, like this very, I don't know the best word to use. I went for a very specific style here. I don't know if it's maybe like a mixture of like Victorian Gothic, but I thought this fit really nicely with the world. And I love the lighting on these lots. Now, I managed to use a really good lighting later on in the video, and I used that for the thumbnail as well. I don't know if I showed it in the video. I'm hoping I did, but I have a feeling I maybe didn't. If not, it is in the thumbnail, and I loved how it looked. The lighting was beautiful. It has like these strokes of pink and orange and yellow, and it just looks so lovely. Like, there was no editing needed. I do, of course, use a G-shade, and that definitely helps with lighting, but either way, I just thought it looked beautiful. I'm sure if you look for it on the gallery, I used that lighting, and I just loved how it looked. If you do want to download this, by the way, my gallery ID is just iHanza, and it's on the gallery as Undead Family, I think, or Undead Home. It's something like that. It definitely has the word undead in it. And that leads on to my next thing, which is that this home is not for the ordinary sim. Now, I figured with this being, of course, in the veil that is thinnest, well, in the world where the veil is very thin, it made sense for me to, you know, create a home for a family that isn't alive, which sounds very morbid, but I had a story behind it, and I think it works. So what I was thinking is that this family was a family of 5, 6, no, 4, but 5 if we include the cat. I created 5 tombstones, or was it 6? No, 5. I'm sure it's 5. I created 5 tombstones, and then I also did put an urn on the inside, but I don't know who that's for. That could be for a grandparent, but as you can see, there's 5 tombstones outside. Although, I'm now thinking, did I add an extra one? I had to build a home for a family that wasn't necessarily alive, which sounds very morbid, but I feel like the story is pretty cool and it works. So this is for a family of 5, 6 if we include the cat. Now, I did place 6 tombstones outside of the house, and that is to represent the 6 loss of lives in this home. Now, not that I think they necessarily had passed within the home, but what I was thinking behind the story behind this whole home is that it is never been moved into by another family. Now, with them living in the world of course, Ravenwood, it's no secret that they have ghosts hanging around. I will say, I think the people of the other neighborhoods that I had mentioned earlier, I think there's some people within those neighborhoods that maybe don't necessarily believe the myths. I think there's a lot of like little stories going on. So maybe like the kids hear things from their friends, maybe they hear things at school, maybe the teachers talk about this specific neighborhood, like the Night Vale, but you know, they don't know. The kids, you know, they're very skeptical. I think a lot of them do believe it, with them being quite young, but then I think there's a lot of them that are like, no, you know, I don't believe that kind of stuff. And so this resulted in the whole story of this family becoming a myth. I think that this family it's an old family. They passed a very long time ago, is what I was thinking. I just thought that made sense, because it worked really nicely with the style as well. It kind of feels more old-time-ish, and I just thought that worked the best. So my whole story is that, you know, the myth is with this family, they all had sadly passed away, which I don't know, it's very morbid, but you can go down the morbid route or you can not. That is completely up to you. But what I decided was I had put the gravestones in the front garden, and I wanted it to obviously represent the lives that used to live here. Now, of course, with it being the dynamic that it is, which ends up being 2 parents and 3 children, I did think this was probably some sort of tragedy because, you know, with there being 3 kids involved, that's obviously not great. That's not a like natural pass. So I felt like it was probably a tragedy, and that's probably also why they're so famous. There was most likely a very, I don't know, what's the word, like in like a tragic story that took place that everyone knows about, and yeah, everyone's kind of like, you know, as I say, some people believe it, some people don't, some people are like, that's just a myth, like we don't believe that, and some people like are like, no, I know, you know, like I know it, I've seen it. And you know, there's a mixture of people. There's definitely a divide between the two. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I didn't think of anything specific because I felt like that would be a bit much. But if that is a little bit morbid for you, which I completely understand, you could just go down a kind of funny little route. You could have something like and maybe it works the way vampires do. Maybe they got bitten and became ghosts. Maybe they just decided to be ghosts. Maybe it's not as tragic, and maybe only like some people passed on, being like maybe the parents or like a parent or something, or you could even have the graves outside or something else completely. Now, one of the gravestones is for a cat, and I unfortunately didn't make it a pet grave, which I should have. So if you do want to change that, then please absolutely feel free. That makes so much more sense. I just didn't think about it, and then I realized once I'd already put this on the gallery, and I was like, oh no, I definitely should have, like, I should have made that a cat one. But yeah, it's okay. I think it still gets it across. Now I am going to talk a tiny bit about the dynamics. So in this family, it does, of course, consist of the 2 parents and 3 children. Now, that is what I was thinking was a mum and a dad, 2 twin boys, and then a younger girl. So there is 3 kids, but the girl is the youngest, and then you have like the 2 boys, which makes it sad to think that these are like ghosts living here. But I just think that it works for this build. I don't know. I think it's not like sad. It's cool. So hopefully it comes across more like fun and gameplay vibes. You know, gameplay friendly, I would say. Now, you might have noticed we have moved on to the inside, of course, and I have started on the living room, and I decided to use a lot of pops of this like royal blue. Now, I just absolutely loved how this looks. I think it looks so lovely. Now, I did have a little dilemma, a little think about this family as a whole, and of course, based on the size of their house, they were clearly very wealthy. So I'd went for this kind of Victorian-esque Gothic style, as I'd said, but I wasn't sure if this family were royalty as such, or if they were just like a family that happened to be very wealthy, and you know, people now know about them because of instances within, you know, their demise. However, I loved the way the blue looked. I really loved the blue sofa that we got with this new pack, which I do use a lot of the pack in this video, which you will see, but I think that's nice. We get to showcase it really well. I do overuse a few things, but hopefully that's okay since it's kind of like an overview of the pack. But yeah, I used this like royal blue, which I just loved the look of. I think it looks absolutely amazing. So the color scheme tends to be browns, blacks and blues in this house, which I think works really nice. As you can see, it's not really a house as such. I think it's more of a manor, or like a mansion would be like better ways to describe it, because a house I think is a bit vague. It's definitely a lot more grand than a house. But yeah, I went for these pops of blue, which I love. I think they look really, really nice. I think they just set the tone really well. And yeah, I really love it. I hope that you like it too. I just think it works really nicely. Now, something I wanted to mention in terms of this pack being transformative, I don't know if that's the right word. I'm gonna roll with it though. I would say that this is a super, super transformative building pack, in my opinion. Now, of course, I had done gameplay with the pack, and I loved that. But I feel like when it comes to build and buy, sometimes it can be very subjective. Now, my example of this would have to be the For Rent pack. Although I love it, although I absolutely adore the world of Tomarang, and although I really enjoy the items that we got with that pack, something that I struggle with is using those items in builds that are not the style of Tomarang, if that makes sense. And I don't mean any disrespect to that pack at all, because I love it, but with this pack, the Life or Death expansion, a lot of these items can be used in multiple different builds. Now, not to say that Tomarangs can't, that the For Rent cannot. I think I am just more familiar and more comfortable with this pack, so for me it works better. But of course, it's not going to be that way for everyone. We're all different. We all have different building styles. I will say, this may be my first build in this world. However, I did use the pack for the inside of my last build. Now, my last build ended up being a New Orleans inspired home, which I love. Definitely go check that out if you haven't seen it, because I love it so much. It is Halloween themed, but I think that's okay. I think it's all right. But if you check that out, I did use on the interior a lot of this pack, and it just went so amazingly with the New Orleans style, and I think it just works for builds that are more grand, and it works to me really nicely with base game, which I love. I love when things work with base game, which leads me on to my next thing. If you would like to see me do a build that is just this pack in base game, please let me know. That is definitely something I would love to do. I love to do that. I did that for the Lovestruck expansion pack, and I think it was really, really good because we got to see firsthand kind of everything and how it merged with the base game, which is good because not everyone has all the packs. And I've spoken about this before, but I am lucky enough to have been able to purchase these packs. Not everyone has all the packs, and I have done like a tier list before on packs that I think are the best and worth it. And if this wasn't something that I did on YouTube, I probably wouldn't own as many packs as I do. And so with that, I feel like the average person probably doesn't have every single pack. And so it's so nice to see things merge well with base game. I honestly think this pack will be so good with base game. I'm so excited to do it. But yeah, if you would like to see it, please let me know. I think I'll probably do it nonetheless, but I like to hear your opinions anyway because it's important to me. I love to hear feedback. But yeah, so I think this pack goes super well with every pack in the game because I don't have every pack. I have every expansion, but I don't have every pack. I don't have all the kits and I don't have all the like game packs and such. But I have a lot of them and it seems to go really, really well with lots and lots of them. So yeah, I think that this is a very nice pack for that reason. But yeah, I really want to see it with base game. I just want to see what it can do. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the home. So right now we're doing the kitchen and I love the kitchen so insanely much. I did think it was a very big space and it did freak me out a little. As you've probably seen, I kind of started by putting the counters all around. I decided it was a little bit excessive and so I toned it back a little bit. And then I ended up with just having like this small area of kitchen, and then there ends up being like a small little dining space, and then also I'm trying to think what else I had included in here. I think for the most part that's pretty much it. Now, something I did want to speak about with this, of course, being the Life and Death expansion pack, is something else that we got gameplay wise. Now, that is, of course, funerals, functioning funerals that we have never had before, which is crazy when you think about it. We've just never had that. We've had weddings, but we've never had funerals, and I think that that's something I am just so excited to try out. Now, I have not tried it out gameplay wise. I've actually not firsthand did it yet. However, I'm so excited to build a graveyard of sorts or to build a chapel or just something. I love that. I love it. I'm so excited for it. Now, something not to harp on about New Orleans too much, but something I didn't mention in my last video, which was like a New Orleans based build, was that typically there, funerals are more a celebration of life, or that's at least what I've seen kind of be portrayed, and I love that. It's a different way of like funerals, and that leads me into something I noticed with the pack, which is that you can kind of set the color scheme and vibe to the funeral, which I love because I feel like that's something that people might always associate with like sadness and such, but yeah, in New Orleans I think they see it more as a celebration of life, and yeah, they have like jazz funerals. I don't know if that's like the specific name for them, but yeah, it's something that I just thought was interesting. There's different ways that people do funerals amongst different cultures and such, and I think it's cool that you can change the vibe, the color scheme and everything like that, because not everyone likes to wear black at a funeral and not everyone likes to wear color at a funeral. And yeah, it's just it's something that I noticed and I thought that was really cool that they had done that, essentially is what I'm trying to say. By the way, if you notice my shaders turning on and off, I've spoken about this in my last video, but for some reason, they turn on and off when I go off of the tab. I don't know why. It happens if I'm in full screen, it happens if I'm in borderless. It just seems to happen, which is weird. I don't know why. I wish it wouldn't do that, but yeah, I feel like it's very annoying to watch. It's very hard to edit out sometimes because I do it like multiple times in like the one frame. But yeah, I also just hate cutting too many things, so I feel like it looks a bit janky, but yeah, hopefully it's not too big of a concern for you guys, but yeah, I apologize anyways. Now we are moving on to the office area. I didn't even mention, but this place has an office area. It also has a laundry room as well, and it has 3 bedrooms which are all located upstairs, and it has 2 bathrooms, one upstairs and one downstairs. The downstairs one is bigger, but they're both full bathrooms. They're both bath, shower, tub combo, and they both of course have a toilet and a sink as well. But yeah, here is a little office space, which I love. I think it's very sweet. I felt like it worked perfectly with this little space because there's like so much character to this space with the walls and such. Yeah, I really like it. I hope you guys like it as well. Now this is something I've not spoken about yet, but I decided to add one of these crows. I don't understand fully what they do. However, I had seen them and I was like, I need to include that. And I don't know like the full amount of what they do. I know that it's kind of like a pet, and I think you can bond with it. I'm sure you can like teach it to come back to you or such. It's something of the sort. But yeah, I don't know, you know, everything. I don't know everything that's to do with it, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. I think it can kill you, is my only thing, which I think is cool. I think that's such a fun way for your sim to die, which is a bit morbid, but I'm sure that like if you get on the wrong side of it, it can be dangerous. But I don't know, yeah, I don't know if it's actually fatal or not, or if it's just a bit like, okay, don't provoke the crow. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I'm saying a crow. Is it a crow or is it a raven? So obviously in Ravenwood, it would probably make more sense if it was a raven, right? But then again, I feel like it's a crow because crows are like deaf. No? I'm gonna say it's a crow. Please correct me if I am wrong, and tell me otherwise. But I feel like it might be a crow. I'm gonna stick with crow because I feel like that was right. Anyway, we're moving on to the laundry room. This room is very basic. It's just a basic little laundry room. I didn't want to add any bedrooms downstairs, and I didn't really know what else to do with this space. Also, with it having 2 doors and 2 accessible areas to reach it, I felt like a laundry room worked really nicely, and you can just pass through the laundry room to get where you want to go. So if you're in the dining room and you want to go through to the kitchen, I feel like that's really easily accessible, and also probably better because obviously the dining room is not directly next to the kitchen, which I hate. I always try and make it as close as possible, but sometimes it just unfortunately doesn't work out that way. So I felt like this was a nice way for you to be able to pass through both of them. So yeah, it's not crazy. There's nothing too like fun in here, but I wanted something. You know. But yeah, I think that in terms of gameplay, this is probably going to be one of the most exciting packs we've actually had. I don't know if that's going to be a popular opinion. I feel like it might be because I just think funerals bring so much more. And not just funerals, just having this world, having that fusion between the life and the death. I don't know, I just love it. Having the veil between like where it's thinnest and where you have like ghosts just passing around, and it's, I don't know, it's like more common than seeing just normal Sims. I just like it. I just like the gameplay. I feel like if that is your cup of tea, if you're very into that kind of stuff, I feel like you're gonna love this pack. And also, I'm so happy we got it on Halloween. I feel like that was just so lovely. It does make me expect a Christmas pack though, which I had said briefly in the last video. Also, I just added an extra tombstone outside because I realized I wanted to have twins, and I decided to give them the same tombstone, which again, it's a bit morbid, but I feel like it's good. Like you're supposed to play as this ghost family, so I feel like it's nice the way it works. I am with Christmas coming, so I'm just saying, if the Sims team does happen to be listening, I will be expecting a Christmas pack. I feel like that would be so nice. And also, we don't have one. We have seasons, and we also have the like gifted free pack, which is really nice that we do have that. I'm sure you can still get it for free, by the way, if you're wanting to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, apart from that, we don't really have anything Christmas themed. Also, this is the master bedroom. I've not mentioned that. This is for the mum and dad, and it's very green. I do end up dividing it up a little bit to make it like more black and green, so it's not so in your face. And also, I am aware that I just put the cat stand in front of the bathroom. I do fix this on camera, so don't worry. I think it's on camera at least, but yeah, I do fix it, do not worry. But yeah, Christmas pack, like, so if we could get just some like new trees, or even if the Sims team could like go over some of the old swatches and give us some like new Christmas colored, I don't know, Christmas trees. I will say I love the Christmas tree selection. There's some good ones, and oh, I'm just so excited for the Christmas builds. Like, I'm so excited for the Christmas builds. I am so excited. It's too early to start them now, because as I'm filming this, it's the 7th of November. That's a little bit early. But at the same time, I'm like, let's get them. Let's get them. I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, this is a little bit too early. But if someone uploaded one, I would 100% be watching it with like a hot chocolate in my hand. So I'm like, is it too early? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll suss out and see what everyone else is doing. But yeah, anyway, so this is the master bedroom. I love how it turned out. I think it's very nice. As you can see, I broke up the colors a little bit. I do break them up a little bit more. I ended up looking at it and I was like, oh, this is a little bit much, so I do end up doing it a little bit more. Now, this bedroom here ends up being the younger sister's room. And as you can see, I started off with like very big beds, and then I was like, no, let's go classy child, with like the little sheep duvet. So beyond cute. I love it so much. But yeah, there's nothing too special about this room, I'm gonna be honest, but I do really like how it turned out. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's very cute, it's very cozy, it's very sweet, and it just works for a kid's bedroom. So I think it gives kid's bedroom, but it also keeps the theme. I wanted to keep the theme of the home, which is like what I was saying before, like that Victorian-ish, I don't know, Gothic. I don't even know if it comes under that, but I feel like it keeps the theme nonetheless, but it still comes across as like being a kid's bedroom. I will say with the boys' bedroom, the twin boys, I don't keep as to the theme, but I still use a good color palette, and like the wallpaper that I use, I feel like really brings it all in together, even though it's maybe not necessarily the best style. I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes when it comes to building in a certain style, sometimes I will get a bit lost when it comes to kids' rooms, but I tried not to make it too much of an issue. But yeah, And there was me changing that cabinet swatch just because it was too much for me. But yeah, I really want to hear what you guys think of this pack, because I have obviously talked a lot about my opinions. There's obviously stuff I've not even mentioned probably because there's so much to go over, and although this is quite a long video, I feel like it's hard to cover absolutely everything. So if there's anything I didn't say, anything that you noticed that I maybe didn't, or anything that you don't agree with, or anything that you do agree with, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I don't know, I love hearing other people's opinions. Sometimes I will just watch like speed builds and hear people's opinions, and I just love listening and being like, oh, okay, or like that's a different take than what I was thinking, but that's cool. I always love that. I feel like it's very fun, just to hear other people's kind of first reactions to things. It's very exciting. But yeah, we're moving on to the boys' bedroom. So I really like how this turned out. I was thinking that they're twins. So two twin boys, and yeah, their room is very basic, I will say. I just went for a blue and black color scheme, so kind of stuck to the same theme as the home. I felt like that was a nice way to tie everything back in, just because I was scared it got lost a little in the girls' bedroom. Although I personally don't think it did, because I feel like I did stick to the style very well. Whereas here I stuck to the colour scheme, but not so much the style. So I think they complement each other really nicely. Now, I did heavily debate using that rug because it's the same swatch as the beds, and I thought, is that weird? Is that a bit much? But I thought maybe it was a matching set. Maybe it was like a matching blanket that came with it, and they just put the blanket on the floor and use it as a rug. I don't know, I like to use my imagination. But yeah, they have like a TV in a room, which I'm gonna be honest is not very Victorian-esque. But I keep saying that, I keep saying esque, but if they're still living in here, even if it's as ghosts, maybe they're caught up with technology. I don't know, I didn't think about all the ins and outs, I'm gonna be honest, but maybe they are thinking about the technology and they're caught up with it, and so they can still use like a flat screen TV. I don't know, are we reaching a little bit, or is that passable? But yeah, I really love how that bedroom ended up looking. If you are not a fan of like the flat screen TV for obviously that reason, definitely feel free to replace that with something else. I'm not going to be offended at all. That probably makes more sense anyways. But here in this final room, I did end up doing a bar. If you don't want to have a bar, you could definitely make this another bedroom. That is completely up to you. Same as like the laundry room, you could make that a bedroom. Completely up to you. I am not here to tell you how to use your build. I just decided to do a bar, but yeah, it wasn't really like a big thought. I was just like, have an extra room, I may as well make this, and I thought it fit with the time as well. So yeah, that was another reason. But we are coming to the end of this video, I know, finally. So I just want to say a massive thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please make sure to leave any comments down below. Let me know what you think of this video, what you think of this family, and what you think of the pack and the gameplay and the build and buy, because I would love to hear it. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!